What's up, YouTube? I'm here to talk to you a little bit today about shooting the basketball. Now, to some of those out there, it sounds simple enough, but a lot of people struggle with shooting the ball, and it's key with becoming a good basketball player. And most people, they don't know how to use their fingers. And one of the players that I saw as a kid in the mid '90s that really helped me with my shooting was Reggie Miller for the Indiana Pacers. Uh, I noticed this around like 1995 that he had tape, even in the games at times. He would have tape wrapped around these two fingers. He would have tape wrapped around here, and he'd have tape wrapped around here. And you could do this at home with scotch tape. And it's something that I wouldn't recommend doing it in a game, but it's something you could do to practice with, to practice on your shooting, because really these two fingers right here is what you are using to shoot that basketball. Your outside fingers right here, these are really just to balance the basketball. It's these two fingers that are really doing the heavy moving of pushing that basketball toward the rim. And Reggie Miller, I want to say he even had I saw him a couple times that he even had an armband type material, like a cloth armband, but it was for his fingers. And he would actually be playing in the games with that. And so I encourage you to practice. And most people don't have custom made finger bands for their fingers, but you can get some scotch tape and put it around your finger right here and go shoot some shots around the goal there, close, started in the paint, on the blocks. 10 shots on one side. Can you make 10 in a row? And then 10 on the other side of the block, and then move back. But really, you're focusing on pushing with these two fingers. These two fingers right here, if you push with these, that's when you're going to get an awkward rotation on the basketball. You want that rotation to come perfectly, spinning around. Not if you're pushing. A lot of people who aren't who don't have a good technique, they twirl their hand when they shoot, so the ball spins in an awkward direction to where if it does hit into the hoop, it'll spin out. So you really want to focus on these two fingers, pushing that finger as you're shooting, and then practice on putting all your fingers down, pushing all your fingers down. But really, you're focusing on these two fingers. You're flicking your wrist here, and when you shoot, hold your wrist down at the goal, and when you're pointing at the rim, and look at the back of the rim when you shoot. So try to focus, think of your arm as a sight on a gun, or like a catapult, if you will, that you're focusing on flicking that wrist, using these two fingers and flicking your wrist down. Focus on the back of the rim when you shoot, and keep practicing. And then before you know it, you'll realize you're using these fingers more than you were, and you're staying away from these two fingers. So you don't want to move your hand really, because that'll alter the spin of the rotation of the ball when you shoot. So it's easier said than done, because most people haven't practiced this. But I first saw this with Reggie Miller in the '90s, and it really works. I mean, he's not one of the greatest shooters of all time for nothing. It's because he trained his hand to use these two fingers, and it works. And just this technique right here will make you a better basketball player. It'll make you a better shooter around the perimeter and also at the free throw line. Most people, they're using their whole hand. They're not thinking that it's primarily these two fingers. So that's something that you can be cautious of. And then when you're thinking about it as you're practicing, you shoot hundreds of, thousands of shots. It'll eventually become automatic that you catch that ball and you're flicking it off there. And keep your arm straight. And a lot of people have different shooting techniques. Larry Bird would have the ball out out to the side here to where he's coming up like that, to where, and it makes a lot of sense because his face is open here, where a lot of people come up with the ball like this, whereas in your elbows kind of in the way. People have a natural shooting form. It's kind of like throwing a baseball. Everybody's body's a little bit different, so people are going to shoot and throw a little bit different. But so I wouldn't necessarily change up your natural shooting form with your arm, your elbow. That's just kind of how the natural way that you shoot. But really, you can change the way that you follow through, and this is important. And this is the Reggie Miller follow through with these two fingers in mind, and try to practice with that in your mind. That hey, are you using these two fingers predominantly? And really, these are just to balance the ball in your hand when you shoot. So. All right, YouTube, I hope that helps. This is going to make you a better basketball player, quickly a better shooter. And people are like, man, you got a shot all of a sudden. All right, YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.